Hey, Eagle fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into our Eagles video today, where we're going to take a look at 4 internal trade candidates who the Philadelphia Eagles, I think, could really trade away this offseason to get more draft picks, to go ahead and free up some positions, as well as create some more cap space, which is very, very important because you want to sign some players, you need cap space to do so. Philadelphia can do that by trading away some of the players in the video today. So let's just start with a broad picture, as we normally do here, get you guys up to date on where we are at. Currently, Philadelphia has $14 million in cap space, aka they have a decent amount, middle of the pack, but not a ton. Now, that obviously is changing with the Brandon Brooks retirement. That can become a lot more. We're not exactly sure how much it's going to be, but I would bet by the time we get to free agency, we're going to have about $27 to $30 million in free cap space, meaning plenty of move and plenty of money to go ahead and make moves in the offseason. Now, offseason, they're going to have 3 first-round draft picks as well, as we will talk about here in just one second, but their team needs are very much, I think, concrete. They're very much set in stone. Linebackers in need, defensive end is in need, wide receiver, cornerback, and offensive line are all trade needs, which will be taken into effect when I talk about players the Eagles could trade away currently signed on their roster to, or at least through, the 2022 NFL season. A reminder again, your 3 first-round draft picks, very simple, 15, 16, and 19. Your 15-1 was via the Miami Dolphins, your 16th overall draft pick via the Indianapolis Colts, and the 19th overall draft pick is Philadelphia's own, and so obviously if you trade people away, you can refill those positions either in the draft with your 3 first-round draft picks or in free agency, or both, right? Why not both, as the girl in the famous Taco commercial once said. All of this being said, before we jump into the actual content of today's video, let me just say this. This will be the biggest offseason ever for Philadelphia. I cannot remember an offseason in the Eagles, or with the Eagles, and I've watched them for 24 years of my life or whatever, that was this big. They've had plenty of big moves. Think back to the Dream Team offseason. They got Colin Jenkins. They went ahead and got Vince Young. Like, they were balling out in terms of that offseason. That was a nice free agent offseason, but they haven't had a draft plus free agency like they're going to have coming up this coming year. And so let's throw in some more drama here. Let's talk about who they could potentially trade away in order to create even more excitement and more drama for Philadelphia in 2022. Before we jump into it, are you guys excited for trade season? Like, trades are really fun. I mean, the free agency and the draft are still very, very fun, equally as fun in my opinion, but I'm pumped for trade season. I think we can get 1,200 likes in this video. Drop a like down below if you're excited for the trade season. Give this video a thumbs up right now. All right, so we're going to start with 4 through 1, and I don't think the ranking necessarily matters, but first on our list here is Gardner Minshew. I think this is probably one of the most likely trades the Philadelphia Eagles will go ahead and make, mainly because Minshew wants out. I think Gardner Minshew deserves to go ahead and get a starting job in the National Football League, and there are plenty of teams that need help at quarterback. Think about the Pittsburgh Steelers. You go ahead and think about the Denver Broncos. Not everybody's going to sign Aaron Rodgers or trade for Russell Wilson. Somebody's going to be left out, and I think that Gardner Minshew does give you an option if you needed a bridge quarterback or if you really believe in him to go ahead and move him over to your football team. Like, I would 100% trade Minshew. All these people out there saying, oh, well, Thomas, you got to have a second quarterback behind Jalen Hurts. Listen, that's been the Eagles' thing since the Super Bowl, right, with Nick Foles. You don't have to, right? You never know if Sinnett is going to go ahead and be a great backup. If you could draft one in the later rounds of the NFL draft, you can sign somebody else. Like, there are plenty of other real backup options, and I think Minshew would probably give you a pretty darn good return. I think Philadelphia would get a day 3 draft pick. You release some cap space. You get a 5th round pick for Minshew. That's not a bad overall move. So I definitely think he's a possible candidate. It doesn't guarantee anything, but I think Gardner Minshew, at least this year, showed, especially in the first game that he started, that he can really play in the National Football League. 4 touchdowns, 1 pick, 68% complete percentage. I think he's ready for a starting job, or at least ready to compete for a starting job. He will not compete for one, whether it's Jalen Hurts or anybody else, and so why not go ahead and move on from Hurts? Now, name a player you guys I think the Eagles will trade away, or that you want the Eagles to go ahead and trade away during the ad break and pin comments. So scroll down below and go ahead and name a player you guys want the Eagles to go ahead and trade away. While you're down there, of course, any moves that they do make, we'll cover it here on the channels. Make sure you guys are subscribed to Philadelphia Eagles now, as we are rolling through another week. So we do here. Every single week, we do a ton of videos regarding your beloved Philadelphia Eagles in a short 10-minute format. That's like the goal. It's like get in, get out, move on with the rest of your day. You guys are busy. I'm busy. We get stuff done for you guys here. So if you appreciate that, thumbs up and subscribe down below. All right, another internal trade candidate. I think this is another real possibility. Andre Dillard. I think Andre Dillard 100% is probably going to be traded, and he could be actually be worth a pretty decent draft pick. 3rd round draft pick, 4th round draft pick. He's a former first, and he did play this year and played pretty well. My question is, for those of you that wouldn't want to trade him, is there a need for Dillard? Like, do you really want to keep a former first-round draft pick you're paying a first-round contract to for someone who is purely a backup? Like, he, now, I think could start, and again, Mailata was injured for 1 or 2 games there, and he filled in admirably, but you can't just have all these star players hiding behind, actual starters just in case something bad were to happen. It's a nice strategy, but you can't pay that much money to Andre Dillard. There are a lot of teams out there that need a left tackle, and a lot of teams that could go ahead and, I think, trade for Andre and make a big improvement, and they would give you a pretty decent deal in return. Again, the offensive line will be fine without him, and even if you were to have Jordan Mailata get injured. They have good depth all around in terms of Driscoll, in terms of Irving, in terms of Opeta. Like, they have plenty of guys who have played all over the offensive line and could fill in admirably for a game or two. You can't just live your life scared the entire time. Even though it is nice to have a first-round draft pick as a backup left tackle, you can't always have that. I think trading Dillard away is good for Dillard's career, and we obviously want that. And it's also good for Philadelphia in terms of getting more draft space, more money for free agent capital. All good things for the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, Super Bowl is less than a week and a half away up there in Los Angeles. I think it'll be fun. Rams and Bengals. The Rams versus the Bengals in the Super Bowl. Joey B and Matt Stafford. You can bet on this game with our friends at BetUS. TreadSports.com/EaglesBet is the link that you need. Promo code Eagles125 gets you a 125% deposit bonus whenever you first sign up. And here are your odds, right? Right now, the Rams are 4-point favorites, and that, of course, will shift between now and kickoff, as it always does. We learn this, we learn that. This player talks, this player doesn't. But you can bet on the -4 right now. The over-under is 49, so it will be a shootout. Will it not be a shootout? I'll give you guys my picks for this game probably later on next week, but I will be betting on it with our friends at BetUS. TreadSports.com/EaglesBet. That promo code is Eagles125. All right, next trade candidate. We talked about it. What about Jalen Reagor? And again, I've gotten this question on my Twitter account, @RealThomasMott, 14 billion times, and it all makes sense, right? Philadelphia, former first-round draft pick, needing a change of scenery. He desperately does, right? And the Eagles have already said that they're going to try and, reduce his workload in 2022, which makes sense for him, but doesn't make sense for the Eagles because they need a number one wide receiver opposite of Devontae Smith. I think you could genuinely think of a trade package for Reagor by trading him to a team and getting a wide receiver in return. I've given this mock trade before many times. Trade Reagor to the Falcons and a draft pick, and then get back Calvin Ridley. That way Reagor can move over to Arthur Smith's offense and get a fresh start, and we get rid of Jalen Reagor and go ahead and acquire Calvin Ridley. It's a win-win. His 2021 numbers were extremely bad. I mean, they're excruciating to look at. 33 catches, not even 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. He has got to be better. I don't think they're guaranteed to trade him. They're not going to cut him for sure, though. So some team has to want him, and the question is, will that actually happen? That will be yet to be seen. Do you guys think, though, they will trade or keep Jalen Reagor? Think they will keep him, type K down below for keep. Then they will trade him, type T down below for trade. All right, final player on our list, talked about it earlier this week. How about Fletcher Cox? Fletcher Cox is somebody that I think could definitely be traded this offseason for the right price and in the right sort of contract. Let me explain why. Trading Cox is very tricky, and it's tricky because of how much money he currently is on the hook for with Philadelphia. I mean, the dead cap hit is like $40 million this coming year and $28 million next year. Now, you can maneuver stuff, convert things to bonuses, and some teams acquire some of that money overall. Like, he can definitely be traded. It's just tricky. So he's on the list, and he's later on in the video because, while I would definitely take him or take a trade for him if you were offering the right price, and I don't think that they necessarily need him on the defensive line due to the fact that he has been in decline the past couple of years. It's just tricky to overall do. So tread with caution here on the overall Fletcher Cox trade, but obviously knowing that the numbers have gone down, and we can't ignore that. We can't ignore the fact that he once was a top 2 D tackle in the National Football League. He is there no longer. If he comes back, great, maybe he plays better, but with the age going, and I just don't know if he's going to get much better, I'm fine with Milton Williams taking over that spot in 2022. All right, we'll run through my top 4 here one last time. Gardner Minshew, I think you need to give him a fresh start. Andre Dillard, fresh start. Jalen Reagor, fresh start. You get a theme here, fresh start. And then Fletcher Cox, maybe some cap relief, maybe just giving Milton Williams a fresh start as being a starter on the defensive line. All those players are on my list. How did I do? We end with a question for you. Which player from my list should the Eagles trade? Let me know down below right now in the comments section. Is it one of the 4? Did I miss somebody? Up to you, though. Give me your thoughts in the comments section right now. All right, ultimate today on our Eagles internal trade candidate video. Plenty more content like this coming up later on this week, next week, the week after that. We do everything here on the channel regarding your Eagles, so subscribe down below. Also follow me on Twitter at @RealThomasMott. We do plenty of great, I do plenty of great stuff on my personal Twitter accounts, So I like stuff, I tweet stuff, I retweet stuff. If you guys enjoy that, go down below and give me a follow. Or I should just say, tweet me at @RealThomasMott. Ultimate today on our video for Philadelphia Eagles Now. Thomas Mott signing off for the rest of your day.